Hi Sewing Bees, I'm Suki and welcome to the Beehive. In today's video, I am sharing with you this cool little vacuum slash duster combo that I discovered while I was teaching a 4-day serger seminar in California. The sergers got quite messy and quite dusty, and all of a sudden the technicians come out of their room and they start cleaning the sergers with these. I was fascinated on so many different levels. One, that it was tiny and portable. The other was simply because they were able to do this really quickly, and most importantly, because they were certified technicians from a sewing store. So I'm going to introduce this to you today, and we're going to talk a little bit about sewing machine maintenance and also how to keep your sewing area clean. And without further ado, let's get started. I've been using it for about 6 months now, and I'm totally in love with it. It has been a game changer for me because in the past, we have been told that we can clean our computers and surfaces with canned air. The problem with this in the sewing room is that you never want to blow into a sewing machine or a serger, because if you think about it, then all you're doing is blowing in that dirt further and further into your machine. So it's really not a great idea to use compressed air for your sewing space at all. Honestly, try and take these out of your sewing room. Instead, use a little vacuum cleaner. So let me just show you a little bit about this little cordless air duster. First of all, it does come with a USB-C cord that you're going to just plug in. You can plug it in right here and then attach it to a USB port, which is how I use it. Or you also have the option of disconnecting the battery. And then when you look inside the battery, you're going to see that these two little yellow parts obviously connect. And then this right here is where you could put a USB cord, like the one that came with it, and then you can connect it to whatever your power source is. However, I haven't really needed to do that. There is also a reset button right here. Again, if you press it, it's just going to turn it back on and turn it off. Again, I don't use it for that particular way of powering it up, but that is what you can do. And you'll see right here that there is a little lock and unlock if you are going to use it with that method. But what I do is I just plug in here to the USB-C and I plug it into my power source with the USB cord. The next thing is this is a vacuum and also a duster. So it's a 2-in-1. You'll notice right here there's a little icon of, blowing the air out and then sucking the air in. So you've got your duster and your little vacuum. Let's first talk about the little duster. So it has this built-in wand so that you can, start using it. And then there's also an extra little nozzle that you can attach that has little bristles at the end of it, which is really nice. I have to say I probably don't use this as much because it kind of hides away. And that means I have to pull this out and then insert it. And honestly, this works just fine. So that's to do the blowing of the air. Again, if you're just wanting to clean a surface off, but just keep in mind that when you blow the air and you blow the dust somewhere, it still goes somewhere. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you just want to clean office space really quick, then this is your tool of choice. However, if you are wanting to pull the dirt into the vacuum, you're just going to adjust the little nozzle so that it goes right here. So just right, it goes from the duster to the vacuum, just like that. And then you can use just exactly as you see right here. There's a little silicone kind of catcher, or this also has an extra nozzle that can go inside. And I kind of liked how they did this. It's like a 2-in-1 where you can pull the bristles down and you can just use this little nozzle, or you can pop it up. I really do like that. I kind of wish they would have designed the duster portion the same way. That would have been really cool. So this is really kind of nice, and I do use this a lot. Again, this is something that is not always attached to my little vacuum, so that means that I have to go and get it from where I keep all the pieces stored. Without any of the attachments, I'm going to show you the basics of how this thing works. So you've got, right now it's set up for the vacuum, and then real easily you just turn it over to where it's set up for the duster. No matter which one you have, there is one power button. As soon as you turn it on, it's going to make a noise and it's going to start working. And then if you hit it a second time, it's going to go at an even higher speed. And then if you hit it the third time, it's going to turn off. So here we go. Ready? All right, and then the other thing is you'll notice that we do have our power. Now, I did fully charge this before doing this video. It takes about 5 to 6 hours to charge. And then the other thing I wanted to point out is when you're working with the vacuum part, and you flip it over here, to clean your vacuum is really easy. It just unlatches like that, like a little screw cap. And then this is where all of your dust and dirt and lint will be collected. And it is really easy to clean. You can do it with water. I even have taken a toothbrush and gotten in there to try and get out some of the extra stuff. And then it just kind of locks back in place. And then you would lock it in place here to use the vacuum. All right, so let's go ahead and see this in action with our serger. And lately I've been doing a lot of serging and making a lot of mess. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and vacuum out the dirt, and then we'll go ahead and demonstrate how to use the little duster, because I do still use this for a lot of applications. A serger is a wonderful tool in your sewing space. It allows you to do many things. One is to cut off the edge of your materials for a nice professional finish. However, when you're working with real fluffy, messy materials, this can cause quite an extra mess inside your serger, as you can see right here. And one of the things that's important is to keep your machine clean. Now, I purposely have left it a little dirty here so that you could see how to clean it. So now with the vacuum portion of our little tool here, we're going to turn it on and we're going to clean this up. And I am keeping the nozzle, which again, this pulls down, but I am going to keep the nozzle so that it kind of works around all of the internal components of my serger to get it nice and clean. Here we go. Now let's take a look and see what kind of a mess that we have been able to collect inside. And there we go. There's all of the fibers that would have been inside our serger now that we can get out. And then again, real simply, you could just wash this out, or you can do it all dry too and just kind of clean this with a toothbrush. As a general rule, I always tell my students that you should keep your sewing machine nice and clean, and it's a good idea to clean your machine after every sewing project and or every 6 to 8 hours. So like if you're just going to go stitch a few seams and then you don't sew for another week or so, you don't need to clean it every single time, but kind of just gauge it. You know, you want your machine to be running in tip-top shape, and you don't want to have to bring it to the service technician just to find out that you haven't kept it clean at all. So what you're going to want to do is learn how to remove the throat plate on your sewing machine. And then I also remove my presser foot so that I have real clear vision of the inside of my sewing machine. And then the last thing is, if you just remove the top plate of your bobbin case, it just makes it a little easier to pull the throat plate out. Now my bobbin case isn't too dirty because I do clean it pretty often, but I have left some dust in obvious places so that you could see how it's done. Another good idea is to clean out what's in there already. And just as a friendly reminder, you never want to blow into your machine. That's why you want to avoid using the duster for this. You want to always pull out the dirt. So most machines will have some kind of a little duster that you can just get in there and get kind of the bigger glumps of dust out first. Or I honestly like to give it a good vacuum and then come back. Even no matter what, there's always going to be little tiny pieces that want to hide. I mean, like that right there, we weren't able to get in with our vacuum. As you could see, I vacuumed first. So even now, I'm gonna get in there and try and get out as much of that as I can. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back and do one more vacuuming. And now we're gonna just go ahead and put everything back in. And just a complete side point that when you put your bobbin case back in and your throat plate, before you just start stitching away, just make sure that everything is moving in a nice orderly manner, that everything is back where it belongs. I don't want you to think that I don't use the duster in my sewing room, because I do. My sewing room is also mixed with my computer and my workspace, so I use it a lot on those areas. But I do want to show you that anytime you are going to use the duster, just keep in mind that it has to go somewhere. So wherever that somewhere is, make sure that you can clean it up afterwards. So in the sake of just showing you how powerful the duster is, I thought it'd be fun to show you these Wonder Clips and how they're going to get over to our little bee friend here. So I'm going to put it on the first setting, and then I'm going to go up to the second so that you can see the power. All right, so powerful that I think I might have lost one of those Wonder Clips over behind my desk, which means that I'll never see it again. But anyways, you can see that it is quite powerful. So just keep that in mind, that wherever that dust or Wonder Clip goes, eventually you've got to find it. So just keep that in mind. And lastly, I wanted to show how when you're working with materials such as this Cuddle Dot, it can be really, really messy. And though I have several videos showing how to not only prevent having all of this fluff everywhere, but also how to clean it with some very, around the house notions that are not really notions that can help do that, I feel like it's my civic duty to show you how powerful that this vacuum is. So we are going to switch it back over to the vacuum mode, and we are going to remove the nozzle, because I'm going to show you actually how we can even pick up these little bits here. So let's go ahead and do it. And then once again, when you're finished with the vacuuming, you don't have to worry about things fluffing all over the place, because it's all caught inside here. But do you see how it actually caught the smaller pieces and all of the fluffy lint? So I do think that that's pretty cool. This is pretty easy to remove, because it's just put it all into one little bundle here. I wouldn't go and remove this with water at this point. I would just kind of get rid of all of this stuff here and then just toss it in your trash bin. Well, sewing bees, what do you think? Is it worth it? Is it something that you would actually use? I can personally say now that after many, many months, I am so glad that I have this little vacuum/duster. But let me know in the comments below. And if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, and also share it with a sewing friend, just one, and then you'll help me grow my channel. And if you are not already, please do consider subscribing to the Suki Sews YouTube channel. And until I see you next time, I hope you have a creative day. Bye-bye.